Good evening. Let me wait for people to get in here. Let me wait for people to get in. Now, I waited to talk about this situation because I wanted to be respectful to the family. But now that Miss Jacky Oh has been laid to rest, I wanted to talk about this situation because it does bring up a more important conversation outside of just the gossip. It does. So I wanted to talk about that today, but I also wanted to give you some details about why people may be reacting to DC Young Fly and everything that's been shown on social media, why they may be reacting in the way that they are. I'm not going to get into the Azalea Banks situation just because that energy is very dark and I just don't want to tap into that. So if you came here for me to speak on Azalea Banks, listen, that's Azalea Banks. That's her issue. That don't got nothing to do with me. So I'm going to go ahead and get into my intro, and then I'm going to get right into tonight's live. Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss. I haven't done anything for you to be proud of.
Of course you have. You are marrying a man who can support you.
Loved ones gathered Saturday to celebrate the life of Jacky Oh, a former cast member of Wildin' Out and partner of Atlanta comedian and entertainer DC Young Fly. The celebration of life took place at Jackson Memorial Baptist Church on Fairburn Road, Northwest in Atlanta. There was a viewing at 1 p.m. and a service that followed at 2 p.m. Jacky Oh's real name was Jacqueline Smith. She died at the age of 32. She and DC Young Fly had 3 children together, 6-year-old Nova, 2-year-old Nyla, and 10-month-old Prince Nehemiah. DC Young Fly, whose real name is John Whitsfield, released a statement earlier this week to people thanking everyone for their well wishes. Jacky died on May 31st in Miami. The cause of her death has not been released, but since a deleted social media post claimed she was in Miami to undergo a mommy makeover. Jacky and DC met in 2015, the same year he made his premiere on MTV's hit show Wildin' Out.
And former star of Wildin' Out, Jacky Oh, has died at just 32 years old. The popular comedy sketch series confirmed her death in a social media post Thursday, calling her a talented Wildin' Out family member whose impact will be forever treasured and missed. Miss Jacky Oh spent 5 seasons on that show, which launched back in 2005 with host Nick Cannon. NBC's Dana Griffin joins us now with more on this. Dana, while there's no cause of death that's been released yet, I mean, she was a YouTube star. She was a star of this show. There are tens of thousands of people online that are talking a lot about this. And a lot of them are saying that it has to do possibly with something called a mommy makeover. Is there any truth to that?
Well, here's the thing. Investigators are not confirming her cause of death, but the reason there's a lot of online speculation is because, according to TMZ and the LA Times, there's been a since deleted post where Jacky Oh talked about, being in Miami for this, quote, mommy makeover. And it's raising a lot of speculation because, Wednesday night, according to the police report, officers responded to a nearby Miami hotel to find a woman unresponsive. They transported her to the hospital, but despite resuscitation, they could not save her life. So a mommy makeover usually entails anything from liposuction to a breast augmentation to a Brazilian butt lift, which is really popular right now. So a lot of people are kind of wondering, did this have anything to do with her death? Again, we have not been able to confirm that. So we reached out to the doctor's office that a lot of people have been posting about. We're not going to name the doctor because obviously, they have not said this person is responsible or even if, she had this procedure, but we have not heard back from the alleged doctor's office that may have possibly performed the surgery to find out if there's any truth to all of this.
I know a little bit earlier we heard from BET Media Group. They are the ones that aired Wild and Out. They said the spokesperson called her a loving friend and beloved colleague of the Wild and Out cast. What else are we hearing from her fans and from her family right now?
Yeah, well, according to people.com, they actually heard from the Smith family and DC Young Fly, who is her longtime partner. She also shares 3 kids with him. And they said, we thank everyone for their well wishes and ask for privacy during this very difficult time. And a lot of stars, fans, and friends are posting about this. You've got NFL star Odell Beckham Jr. He posted a screenshot from the Smith family that read in part, our family is still processing this very tragic and unexpected loss. We ask that you please give us privacy during this time. So obviously a lot for this family to sort out, but there's, people who are other stars who knew her very well, calling her very sweet, kind. Even her agent or her manager said that Jackie wasn't just beautiful. She was intelligent, hardworking, a loving mother, and that this is just really tragic. We know that besides being a YouTube star, she also had her own makeup line and she dealt with real estate, but her pride and joy was really her family.
Her family, those 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I wanted to fill you in on this story when it comes to Jacky Oh. I wanted to give you a little bit of a background, but I wanted to talk about, if you haven't seen or if you haven't noticed, there's a trend that's going around where Instagram influencers are promoting doctors. They're promoting certain procedures and things like that. And it's an up and coming new trend where content creators and influencers are trying to come across as if they're more transparent by letting you know, hey, I'm getting some work done. This is the doctor that I'm going to. And this is where I'm getting, the work done. And also, side note, I may get a discount because I am doing a promotional post, but no worries. I trust the facility and the doctor that I'm going through. And it's just unfortunate that with this new trend that really it just started, that this woman ended up losing her life while promoting a doctor and a facility. So I was recently on, I think her name is, I believe her name is Chanel Richie. That is I think that's her YouTube channel name. I'm just going to call her Chanel. She recently had a BBL procedure done in the state of Florida. And it was interesting because I'm like, oh my gosh, it seems like this is a ongoing issue with the state of Florida. So let me go ahead and play this clip because she talks about her recent horror story that she had behind her BBL procedure. And it was, I think she posted this video a week before Jacky Oh's passing. And she was also promoting a doctor. She was promoting a facility. She was showing you the behind the scenes. She was vlogging and she was doing all of that. And she had such a horrible experience and she was honest about it. So let's go ahead and take a look to see what she's talking about.
Second, all the Percocets are sold out. Then the one pharmacy that's close to prescription, the pharmacist is screaming to the prescription. Step 1, my prescription was stolen. Second, all the Percocets are sold out. Then the one pharmacy that's close to my Airbnb that actually has a prescription, the pharmacist is screaming to the top of his lungs, talking about he not losing his license and that he's not filling the prescription. After the surgical place is on the phone verifying the prescription, he was such a jerk. So long story short, she's like, oh my God, this is crazy. She was like, the nurse, she was like, my friend owns a pharmacy. Let's call her and see if they have it in stock. I said, okay. So we called and that place had it. So my friend had to get all the way in another Uber to go pick up the prescription. She finally gets the prescription, but I ended up getting my prescriptions a day later, which is crazy. That's not what my package included. Like, it was just so crazy. So now the next day, you know, I start getting my massages. Now my massage lady probably was the best thing ever. I loved her. Like, I'm going to add her again. I loved her services. She was so sweet. She was so gentle. She was a board certified lymphatic drainage specialist. She travels to you. She was just so freaking sweet. I loved her. So anyway, you know, like I said, she was a board certified lymphatic drainage specialist. She was just so gentle. And like I said, she would come to you. My massage, the surgery place tried to offer me massages, you know, with a package deal, with a promo, all that. But I didn't want to do their massages because, one, I don't want to get up and be coming in Ubers every day. Like, I'm in pain. I'd rather the person come to me and do my massages. So, and anyway, this massage was a lymphatic drainage specialist. So so from the moment she started massaging me, she's like, oh my God, your drain is twisted. And I'm like, what? So I was feeling it. And then she let me see, I got up and I seen it. So my drain that was put in me ended up twisting. So it was hard for stuff to drain out of the, you know, hard for it to fully drain. So then I go to my surgery place the next day. I'm like, hi, my drain is twisted. Like, I need this removed because it was the day I was going to leave on a plane. So the nurses there was so nasty. Mind you, the doctor wasn't there, nothing. They was like, oh, nobody told you should have got your massages from us. That's why I'm like, first of all, my drain is not twisted because of my massages. The day one that my massage therapist, before she even started touching me, she showed me your drain is twisted under your skin. So I had already seen it. Y'all sitting up here trying to argue with me back and forth about my drain being twisted and that I should have got massages. That's not, like, what are you even talking about right now? Why are you sitting up here telling me, oh, well, you should have got your massages from us? No. Y'all so worried, like, you're so focused on money right now. Take this drain out. So I'm like, take the drain out. They're like, oh, we're not removing drains. Drains are not supposed to come out on day 3. This, I'm like, well, it's twisted and I fly home and all of this stuff. So they going back and forth. They talking all types of in Spanish. I don't even know what they saying. So anyway, I end up calling the lady. I'm like, hi, my drain is twisted. I get on a flight in a few hours. Nothing is draining out. The drain is literally twisted under my skin. Like, it needs to be removed. She's like, really? It's twisted? I'm like, yes, it's twisted. So now, again, it's this promo. Now I got to put her on speaker. She talking to them in Spanish. They looking at me like I'm stupid. All types of stuff. Like, this shit was so crazy. Long story short, after me, because even after I got off the phone with the lady, she said, I told them to remove the drain, okay? I said, okay. Even after I got off the phone with the lady, they was still acting like they didn't want to remove the drain after she just told them to remove the drain. Long story short, I had to keep going crazy. My friend had to step in. Then they finally cut out the damn drain. Now, I'm on my way to the airport. I get a call from the doctor. He like, what's going on with you? I'm like, what do you mean what's going on with me? He like, you got your drain taken out? Like, why would you remove your drain? I'm like, well, my drain was twisted under my skin. He like, no, it was not. No, it was not. I'm like, you didn't see me. You never even.
Let me pause her right there for a sec. So the reason why this is a big deal is because I watched this. I believe she posted this either like a few days before Jacky Oh's passing or the week before. But Chanel Richie brought to light the issues that she was having in Miami because apparently, when it comes to the state of Florida, they had to pass a law recently, not too long ago, that doctors could only perform so many procedures in a day. So they had to put a cap on how many BBL procedures that they could perform in a day. So Chanel was basically saying, please watch this to the end. If you are considering getting a BBL in Miami or at the places I promoted, things went left. And she said, the only 2 people I can recommend is my massage therapist and my registered nurse that came to give me IV after surgery. And so she added these different places and things like that. But she was the one that brought it to my attention of the treatment that she got in Miami. And she feels like it's the culture there now because there are a lot of women going to Miami, they're getting their bodies done. And so when there is a drove of people that go to a particular area, then you'll start to see the servicing decline, and you'll start to see that people are not getting the best treatment just because people are working around the clock. They're overworked because of the high demand of the BBL. And so because she was getting the BBL procedure and things like that, and she was being transparent, she was being open and honest about the situation, she was just saying, I wouldn't even recommend you go back to the state of Florida or the city of Miami to get work done because it's becoming sloppy. Like it's becoming, the treatment is inconsistent. And she was just being honest about it. So it's interesting that I believe Jacky went to Florida to get her body done, and the aftercare is how she ended up passing. So she struggled. Chanel struggled with her aftercare. And that was the main reason that she spoke out and had to be honest about it, because she was like, wait a minute. Y'all want me to promote your facility. You want me to promote this doctor, but the aftercare is not really up to par. And she already had red flags going into her surgery, but she was able to be accommodated enough to get to her procedure and have it done. But the aftercare was just not up to par, and she really struggled. And if her friend did not go with her and advocate for her, I don't think that she would have had the best experience at all when it comes to this situation. So I'm going to allow her to continue. But ladies, it's just something to consider with the culture of plastic surgery right now, because there are a lot of women that are getting it done and they're not getting the best service and treatment. I feel like they were at one point, but now that more women are starting to get these procedures done, they're not getting the best treatment. And this is sad because this is such a serious procedure. It's very serious.
Even seen the joint, like you can't say that it wasn't. I literally saw it, and it was. I've never had a client take out a drain before 5 days, and this is crazy. Hopefully, this way he said, hopefully you make it home safe. Because first of all, you're flying back on day 3. Mind you, your coordinator told me to fly back on day 3. When I told him I was leaving on day 3, he was like, what? Like, why are you flying back? I'm like, your coordinator, you're the general manager of the surgery place literally told me to book my flight from Monday to Friday. He's like, I'm going to have to talk to her because that's not okay. So it's all this miscommunication. And I had to leave because first of all, the caretaker was already gone. And the caretaker, remember guys, it was for 12 hours. My caretaker ended up leaving that day at like 6 o'clock. Mind you, she was at the Airbnb from like 12:01 and she left at 6. This is a 12-hour package. How are you leaving at like 6 p.m.? He's like, hopefully you make it home safe. You leaving on day 3, you taking out drains, and hopefully you take your antibiotics and all this stuff. So I didn't like what he said. And I had him on speaker. And my friend was like, that's crazy how he just spoke to you. I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. And I'm not gonna lie, he ruined my nerves a little because just like that's the surgeon, that's the professional. So for him to be like, oh, you took out a drain, but the drain was twisted, talking about hopefully you make it home. And that was just scary. Like my anxiety started going through the roof. I just got surgery. So when I get to the airport, my nerves is just everywhere, just hearing him say that. Like it's certain ways when you're a medical professional that you have to know how to word things and talk to people. He also even said, like, I was like, do you think I'm gonna be okay to leave on day 3? This was at my pre-op. I'm like, because that's what Genesee told me, and I already have everything booked. Like, it's no way I could say. He was like, well, that's just stupid. It's stupid. And it's like, even that, like, as a medical professional, like, you gotta know how to revert things. Like, even if in your heart you feel like it's stupid, you shouldn't say that. And even if in your heart you hope I get home safe, like, I don't even like how that was said. Like, it's just like, it just made my nerves shoot through the roof. So when I get to the airport, flying was so terrible. I hated it. Like, I hated it. As soon as I got to the airport, I just got off the phone with the surgeon with him saying those words. And I had bad anxiety. I've been working on it, but it just kicked in. So like, I'm with my friend. I'm like, is the floor shaking to you? She's like, no, it's not. The floor is not shaking. I was like, are you sure? She's like, I'm sure the floor is not shaking. So I was feeling like shaking, like I just was losing my balance. I felt dizzy. I had to go sit down. I couldn't even wait on the line to check my bags. I had to have her wait on the line with my suitcase. And when they was ready to check the bags, I had to walk over there. I just felt so crazy. Then I had a wheelchair. I had to get the wheelchair. I was wheelchaired throughout the whole airport. I was just feeling so dizzy that I was just walking around the airport trying to move my legs because I knew I was going to get on the plane. And that was the nightmare, guys. Like, do you hear all of that? Like, based on the reels I posted, based on the 2 vlogs I posted, you guys probably wouldn't have think that I went through all of that. So to sum this all up, like, I do love my results. I do. I don't regret getting the surgery, but I would not go back to that place to get surgery. I would not hire the same people that I hired. And that's no shade to anybody. Like I said, the doctor he's a nice guy. He's a great surgeon. His work is great. But it's just like, for me, just you being nice or a good person or good at what you do is more important. That's not the most important thing. Like how you treat people, how your staff is, the whole experience matters to me.
When you see me, please understand.
Okay, before I get into DC, I just want to say this because I see a lot of comments where people are saying, oh, you know, she shouldn't have gotten the surgery. She shouldn't have gotten the surgery. She shouldn't have gotten the surgery. I don't feel like that's fair to say. And the reason is because the pressure that women are under to look a certain way, that needs to be addressed first. That has to be addressed first. Because if the pressure was not there, we wouldn't be getting it done. We wouldn't feel the need to get it done. And we're talking about a woman that had 3 kids. We're talking about women's bodies that simply don't look the same after childbirth. I've seen so many Reddit threads. I've seen so many men on social media who talk about women's bodies and then they do it in a way that's very insensitive. And then you wonder why women are going out here to get their body done. Not every woman is out here getting their body done for OnlyFans. Not all of us are doing it for pornos and stuff like that. That's social media pushing that. But in the real world, women are going to get it done because we're seeing the comments online from people, men particularly, saying how they're not attractive to their wife after she's given birth, saying that they're not attractive to this woman because her breasts sag a little. They're natural. My boobs are natural. I haven't got my boobs done. They're natural. They're going to sag. Like they're not going to be up in my chin. That's how y'all want them, up in the chin. And it's almost like men say slick things out of their mouth. And then they think that it's okay to say that. But then when a woman is like, okay, let me go do something about it. Let me go fix it. Then you want to shame her still. Make it make sense. So I'm going to promote women doing what they feel is best for them and to be safe about it. Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap. Because when you be cheap, you're going to get a cheap outcome. So you need to make sure that if you're going to go get something done, that you do your research. But I'm not about to sit up here and tell women, oh, she didn't need that or she shouldn't have done that. When I know the pressure that we are all under and the pressure that this woman was under while being married to a Black man, let's keep it real. Being married to a Black man, let's keep it all the way real because we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it later in this video. Y'all know I come with my receipts. And the pressure to appear to be perfect. And let's be real. Is she not a preference? She's a preference, right? So that comes with what? A fetish, right? So he's probably big on her appearance, right? Oh, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. I waited. I was respectful. May she rest in peace. I'm sending my condolences to the family, but we need to have a real conversation about it. Since social media is so concerned, well, if you're so concerned, why are you not addressing the pressure that women are under? Why are you not addressing the pressure that new moms are under to snap back? That has to be addressed first. And then we also need to address how men feel so comfortable talking about women's bodies in 2023. That's insane. So let's have a real conversation about it, but we can't skip that part. We can't skip that part. You can't just go from this, oh, she didn't need it. Okay, well, why was she even in that position to begin with? We have to start there first. So I want to talk about that today. I never said that they were married. I don't even think that they are engaged, which is part of the reason why people, social media, are not really happy with DC Young Fly and how he handled the situation. They feel like the situation is weird. Me personally, when it comes to how this whole situation was handled with DC Young Fly and things like that, you have to understand that social media desensitizes everything. Desensitizes the simplest things. So posting a funeral on social media, it was never going to be sentimental. It was never going to be seen in that way because social media will desensitize you. That's why we're comfortable now with seeing dead bodies online. There was a time where we weren't comfortable with that, but now we're comfortable with that. Now we're comfortable with people recording people in their casket and then the closing ceremony. That's supposed to be a sacred part within the ceremony of a funeral. The closing of the casket. Nobody needs to see all of that. But somehow that ended up on social media. So if people want to be mad at how people are reacting to the funeral and his behavior and everything like that, let's start with the fact that this was posted to social media to begin with. And let's start with the fact that this entire situation from the very beginning, when she promoted the surgery, was posted to social media. And then her passing, everything was posted to social media. We would not have anything to talk about if everything was not posted to social media. So if you don't want people chiming in, giving their opinions and speaking on what you're doing, what you got going on, stop posting it to social media because we are desensitized when it comes to this virtual reality. So if you are needing something to be taken with a level of sensitivity and empathy and sympathy, do not post it to social media. But this woman was posted from the time that she promoted the surgery, then learning of her passing, then people making their sentimental posts about her passing online from different celebrities and things like that. Then they decided to record her funeral. They decided to live stream it. So y'all can't get mad at people that have these opinions and things because, again, it's social media. We are desensitized when it comes to the things that we see online. So if you don't want that, don't post it. But we're also going to get into why some people are not really feeling DC Young Fly because of some of the things that he has posted in the past regarding women's bodies, her body, particularly Jacky Oh's body, and then also just like his overall behavior. So let's get into that real quick. But this was his speech, and I really think this is why people had the reaction that they had. Let me go ahead and blow this up real quick. And this is strictly my opinion. It's my opinion. You don't have to like it, and you do not have to agree. So there was a Twitter user that said, I don't know if Jacky Oh had any brothers, but somebody should have told DC Young Fly to step outside after the funeral service was over. Then someone else said, wow, these comments are wild. So people really be judging your grief, judging how you're supposed to sound and act when you lose someone, supposed to assume how you really feel. This is trash. People need to have private ceremonies for real, for real. See, I agree with that. But let's get into some of his speech, and then I'm going to also add more to my commentary.
Not me. I don't have the energy or strength to
do is more important. That's not the most important thing. Like how you treat people, how your staff is, the whole experience matters to me.
When you see me, please understand that it's not me. I don't have the energy or strength to deal with none of you. When you see me, when a smile is on my face and I'm kicking it and I'm happy, the higher power granted me the strength to continue to keep going. I love you, Jack. These kids are beautiful, man. God granted us strength to have 3. You know, I was trying to have 7 more. She gonna beat me up for that one.
Y'all, I really think that's the reason why that part right there, I really think considering the situation at hand, mommy makeover. And people are like, I don't know why people are reacting the way that they are about DC, because this joke triggered a lot of people because she passed due to a mommy makeover. So it's almost like, okay, I didn't marry you. You had 3 of my kids. You sacrificed your body 3 times. And you went and got this mommy makeover. You didn't make it. But I'm going to make that joke about how I'm going to have 7 more kids with somebody else at your funeral. And y'all sitting up here like, oh, you can't blame somebody on how they heal and how they grieve. Y'all, that was a poor joke. I don't think that's funny. I don't. And see, if they didn't want our opinion, it should have never been posted to social media, because the whole funeral was live streamed. It was like an hour and some long. It was live streamed. So he didn't marry her. She sacrificed her body 3 times, 3 kids. She didn't make it through her mommy makeover. It doesn't even seem like he had any intentions on marrying her. And this is the joke that you give at her funeral? So I see why people are upset. But then also, ladies, let's be real here. She didn't marry him. She was with him. She chose him. She chose to be with a man that jokes a lot. He jokes a lot. So that's his personality. She knows the man that she had 3 kids with. She knows him better than we do. So I'm pretty sure there's a part of me where it's like, I understand where people are coming from, but then there's another part of me where it's like, she knew how this man was. Like, she knows, like, this is who he is. Y'all want him to be something that he's not. And that's not fair. She chose to be with this man. She chose to have 3 of his kids. She knew what type of man that she was getting into a relationship with. So you don't have to like it. You can say, oh, she didn't really deserve that, whatever the case may be, but she stayed. She stayed in this relationship. So I don't know. I don't know. He's always been like that. Very inappropriate. He says inappropriate jokes. So it's like, why do y'all expect for him to be anything different? I think if she was still alive, she would be like, that's just DC. That's just how he is. So I don't know. But if they didn't want the opinions of that, to me, it was distasteful, that joke. I don't think that they should have live streamed the funeral. I wouldn't have done it. So then more people on Twitter were responding and saying, yes, that's what Jacky would have wanted. Fighting at her funeral, ghetto. Regardless if they agree, she clearly cared for this man. No sense in squaring up now after years with this relationship. Too late to be upset with how she's gone and he's a single parent. Then someone else said he is a comedian. His whole career is about turning pain into a joke. His heart is heavy, but for his kids, he has to lighten the load, let the man grieve in peace. And then that's another thing, is the kids are at the funeral too. The kids are at the funeral too. The kids are at the funeral too. So I don't know if people were wanting him to be super emotional and high sprung and all of that, but I don't know. I can't coach someone on how to grieve. I can't tell someone how to grieve. Grief, it comes in many different stages, and it's really unpredictable. You really don't know how you're going to react to grief. So I think it's unfair to say, oh, he didn't react the way that he should have. There's no way to act when it comes to grieving someone. Then another Twitter user said, y'all say anything. When you're naturally silly, it's hard to be super serious, even when you're sad. He has 3 kids who are looking at him. Now he grieves truly. Now, how he grieves truly can affect how they take this. I think he did amazing given the circumstances. And I know that's harder. I know that there are harder days to come. I'm sorry, y'all. The Twitter users are throwing me off. Okay, let me continue.
But I love you, girl. And I want our kids to understand that you had a beautiful soul. And you didn't leave us. You in heaven. Your spirit is with us. You still here. And we got an amazing support system. We got a beautiful support system. Cause they came out. Love you. Everybody in here, keep God first. And always remember, listen, do not complain.
Then more Twitter users chimed in. And listen, I'm not here to disagree. I'm really not. Because I understand people are like, that's still inappropriate. That's not a way you should carry yourself. Listen, think of the person that we're talking about. When has this man had any class? Like, let's be for real. When has he ever had any class? Like, that's like trying to tell somebody that has never been in certain rooms to act a certain way in a room that they have never been in. That's crazy. You have to be taught how to behave in certain rooms. You have to grow up a certain way. So he's never had class. So I'm just like, y'all expect for this man to have class at this funeral? I don't think so. I've been to some very ghetto funerals. So it's like y'all expect for a person that has like ghetto tendencies to not be ghetto in certain places. They are. Hell, they are. They're gonna be ghetto no matter where they go. A funeral ain't gonna change that. So I don't know. So more Twitter users were chiming in. So one Twitter user said he's a comedian dealing with grief and had to deliver a message in a very difficult time. I'm sure she knew what he meant. We can only make that assumption. If you have never been in this man's position, be quiet. If my husband can't keep the funeral focused on me, then ... Well, that's not her husband. Ladies, I hope you're taking notes. Then somebody said facts. Was bro high? I don't know. I didn't see the dad's speech.
You may have a valid reason to lose your mind, but that don't mean it's right. Cause I got a valid reason to go buck wild, but that's not gonna get me and my children and my family nowhere. They gotta see the strength so it can be instilled in them. My kids got strength. That's why I'm able to stand today. My baby Nala looked at me and said, Daddy, what's wrong? I ain't even say nothing. She looked at me and said, don't worry. She don't even know what's going on. Nala came in and said, Nova came in and said, Daddy, I'm happy. The Spirit moved in me and said, man, if my children are happy, then I'm happy. And if they can do it, I can do it. And if Joseph can do it, we can do it.
Hey,
they love stretch marks.
Not the deep ones.
Yeah,
no, not the deep ones.
I like deep ones.
You got to lay on that stomach, my boy.
I don't never count them out. The ones that stomach like a pack of noodles.
There's a lot of shit going on, man.
When that stomach like a pack of noodles,
yeah.
Fuck this nigga talking about, man. That thickness had to come from somewhere, man. That's what they get That's that BBL stuff. Yeah, that stomach like a pack of noodles right there in the front. They just crushed it up. It be soft, that meat be soft. Man. Balled up paper bags. Act like you know me. That's that tummy touch.
You ever seen one like you can tell the stomach was stretched? Like,
ooh, like that.
You
talking about that?
They stretched the fuck out that skin. They had you that motherfucker.
He talking about that shit. You see that, right?
No, they take the extra skin
and they put it in their jeans. No, they put it in their jeans.
They do?
They put it in their jeans.
No, that's the thing. See, they pull the shit down.
They pull it up. They pull it up.
I thought they pulled it down.
They pull it up. They pull it
Whatever
down.
they do, they take that shit and
they stretch it and
pinning the skin back together.
And then they cut some out and then they just piece it back there. Then they make the little navel like a booty hole.
That
bitch went and got a BBL and got back.
Bitch done put a booty in her stomach.
Got a booty hole in the middle of
We got 2 booty holes.
Did you just pull out your navel?
To tell them about how my boobs looked before I got them done.
How your what?
My breasts.
This was 5 years ago.
Your breasts used to look like 6th grade.
Really?
Pizza. It used to look like middle school pizza. Middle school cafeteria pizza. The triangle.
Really?
The little triangle cafeteria pizza.
Wow.
Now they perked up.
So you never told me that before.
Oh, I thought you already knew they look like middle school.
Oh my god. So you like them still though?
Huh?
Did you like them still?
My phone. My phone ringing.
He hasn't even seen them now. He don't even know what they look like.
I hope they matched the nipple. Shit. The nipple will be little motherfucker.
Baby, that's so mean. Do you want to touch them?
I don't want them bust and then you be like, I pay for them.
I'll do his reaction to touching them when they're a little less swollen, but I figured you guys wanted to know his opinion. He figured it out, y'all. Says I'm waiting for him. Let's see. Keep giving us the hearts. Hey, GC.
You know you're not allowed to call me that.
Oh, sorry, Dad. Hey, John. So what are you doing?
The same shit I was doing before your ass.
Somebody in the chat said DC was just joking. Do y'all like women? I have to ask, do you like women or do you not like women? Do you understand the nature of a woman? Seriously. Do you understand the nature? And then if he was comfortable saying that on camera, oh, I can only imagine what it was like off camera. Do y'all like women? It doesn't seem like y'all do, because it's like if something is in it, it may not be that big of a deal to you. That's great, right? But it's a big deal to me. And the same goes in reverse. Like if something is a big deal to you, I'm gonna respect that because it's a big deal to you. So what you may not feel is a big deal in your mind as a man because you don't have the pressure to look a certain way. You may have the pressure to be a certain height, right? But you don't have the pressure to look a certain way. Why do you just dismiss her sensitivity? And see, that's the issue that a lot of women have when it comes to Black men. Y'all don't know what it is to be sensitive because you suppress that. You block that off completely. You don't even allow yourself to cry. Hell. So how are you in tune with any type or any form of sensitivity? You're not. You're not. So of course, her sensitivity is one that you just want to push off to the side. Oh, it's not a big deal. So no, like that's unacceptable. And by that time, this was like 5 years ago. This was she had Nova, her first child already when she got that procedure done. And she went and got her boobs done. So, I mean, a woman is still going through postpartum. I think Nova at the time had to be around this age. Like she was still like either one or a toddler or whatever the case may be. So it's like she's still not mentally back to where she was prior to having the baby, yet you're dismissing her sensitivity. That's insane to me. That's insane to me. So it's really unfortunate that he made those comments in that podcast video where he felt comfortable talking about women's bodies. Clearly women who have given childbirth, let's be real about that. Then he felt comfortable talking about her breast in a vlog that she recorded when she got her boobs done. So I don't know. So I can see why she may have felt pressure from society, social media, her man, let's be clear. And then the fact that he works at Wildin' Out, he's around these Wildin' Out girls because that's how they met. Let's be for real here when we have this conversation. So let's continue. That's why, ladies, don't ever put your body on the line for a man that is not your husband because they don't appreciate it. They don't. They keep telling us how they don't care. They don't appreciate it. They don't appreciate it. It used to be a gift to give a man a child. Now it's almost like it's whatever. Like they shrug their shoulders. It needs to go back to how it was before, where it wasn't easily accessible. because these men really don't care. They used to care. They used to value childbirth a little bit more. And so they'll sit up here all day long and they'll talk about how, oh, I'm a man, I'm supposed to protect you. I have to put my body on the line to protect you. Well, the same goes for a woman during childbirth. She's putting her body on the line to give you an offspring, to give you a legacy. So just like you're protecting her physically from any harm or danger, she's also putting her body on the line. She's sacrificing, she's losing blood. She's losing sleep. She's uncomfortable for 9-10 months, however long it takes for that baby to come. She's sacrificing her body as well, but y'all don't ever want to acknowledge that. But I'm supposed to acknowledge how you're my protector. You're supposed to protect me from harm. Like there's going to be an intruder that's going to just come knocking down my door any day now. Be for real. Be for real. So y'all need to be for real about this. But another reason why I think people on social media are having the reactions that they're having towards DC Young Fly is because all of these old videos are resurfacing. He was very comfortable about speaking on her body and other women's bodies. Then he made that poor joke at her funeral. Like people are watching all of this because it's easily accessible on social media. They posted it online. We didn't ask to be involved in their private conversations. We didn't ask to be involved in none of this stuff. But now that people are seeing these old clips resurface, they heard the poor joke at the funeral, and then how he treated her in this live stream that they did on Instagram. I think how people are reacting, which is very mixed, I think it makes sense. So let's continue.
My views, wait, hold up. My views just jumped like from.
Yeah, them ain't your people. Shut up.
Okay, what are you doing? Calm down.
Oh, shit. But my people are your people. Y'all go see her over there. See her.
So what took you so long to get on live? The people want to know.
Girl, your shit went up.
It's because we don't follow each other, so he probably didn't get a notification that I was on live.
They don't follow her. I don't be want to see this shit.
Same.
Well, girl, you always on my shit. Shut up.
You're always on mine. I'm at the top of your search history.
So?
What?
So?
Exactly. So, what do you guys have to ask us? He said he wasn't going to go on.
I need some pussy. What you talking about?
That is a statement. That's not even a question.
All right. You need to say something to it. I said I need some pussy.
Okay.
What's okay? You better know. You need to say something else. What are you talking about?
Yes, Daddy.
I'm tired of that. I need some pussy.
Okay. That's Miami.
Y'all see what I go through. All right.
I just said Miami. Shut up. What are you talking about? Guys, we're going to be in Miami.
I want somewhere else. I don't care about Miami.
I'm going to be in Wait, what?
Oh, you ain't talking about no Miami. Talk about some other shit.
What are you talking about? Like, what?
Just talk about some other shit.
What? So John's in LA and I'm in Atlanta, so that's why he can't get any pussy right now, if anybody wanted to know. Thank you.
These motherfuckers stupid.
So do you guys have any questions? All I see is crying faces.
I'm not answering shit for you.
Are we gonna have fun in Miami? I can't hear you. Your phone is on mute.
No,
it ain't.
I'm about to say they better ask you questions. I'm not answering shit to these nosy
Okay, you guys ask me the questions. I'll answer on behalf of us, of the flies.
What?
So I'll answer on behalf of the flies.
Appreciate it, man. Album 5. Appreciate it. Jackie just got to lead roll too, y'all.
Thanks, baby. Have you guys checked out John's new album? John, shut up. No said it's time for a haircut.
I'll be back in town, guys.
Y'all, one time I was in California and I was trying to do something nice for DC, and I hit up his barber and I was like, hey, can I prepay you for John to get a haircut? And he was like, yeah, I mean, I guess. And then the next time John went in to get a haircut, he still paid. And I was like trying to like see if he was surprised that he got a free haircut. And I was like, yeah, so how much did your haircut cost? And he was like, I don't know, he said $30. And I was like, really? Huh. That's how much he charged you?
I mean, I'ma just say it like what it is. The nigga don't give a shit about.
Wait a minute. Now, this is why I had to wait. Because I wanted this woman to be laid to rest. Y'all know I don't like speaking on the dead ill. I don't. I really hope this woman rests in peace, and I hope her children are healing through this experience that they're going through in their life right now. I learned more about her. Jackie lost her mother very young as well, and her father raised her. So before we get into this, y'all have me curious about her daddy. So I'm about to pull that up too, since we at it. Because y'all keep saying her dad. And I'm like, what about her daddy? So let me go ahead and watch this with y'all, because I'm going to watch it live with you. I haven't seen it. I just pulled it up. And then I'm going to come back to that podcast, because that man spoke nothing but the truth. And a lot of people are going to be upset because it's an uncomfortable truth, but it's still the truth. Hold on, wait a minute.
Lord, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be holy and acceptable sight. I'd like to share with, thank everybody for coming out and showing your support and love. My daughter, Jacqueline Marie Smith. Before I say this, I don't know nothing about the Bible, but in Romans chapter 13, this is for the peace officers. I'm a peace officer myself. It says that every soul shall be subject to the higher power. That's what the Bible says. I would suggest every police officer in the world put Romans chapter 13 on there. It says that we are not a terror to good works, but to evil. To leave that right there. To share a moment in the X and Bat family. A few years ago, my daughter, Brooke, and they would always do this throughout the years, wondering, who is daddy's favorite baby? Who's the favorite? And my daughter, Brooke, would tell Jacqueline, oh, I'm daddy's favorite. Oh, I'm the favorite. You know, and Jacqueline said, no, I'm the favorite. Let's ask him. All of my baby bats are the favorite. Yes, Jacqueline was my first favorite because she was my first baby. But as all the babies came into the bat family, once you become a bat with an X, you're my favorite. I like to say, did you know that humans have 3 brains? You have a brain in your head, you have a brain in your heart, you have a brain in your stomach.
Are y'all trolling me right now? See, this is why stuff like this don't need to be posted to the internet. It don't, because we don't know this man. I don't know her daddy. Oh my God. Like, am I being pranked?
Oh, it sounds strange, but it's true.
This is how I'm being introduced to her daddy.
Look at that. See if it's true. Look it up. I don't know nothing about it. But there are a lot of things that have been going on in the world. And I think it's about this race stuff. And I like to tell the world this day, the master teacher, his name is Minister X, peace be upon him. He says that Adam and Eve were not black people. Adam and Eve were not white people. Let's look, if you will, go with me back in your mind to Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26. I don't know nothing about the Bible, but it reads, Yah says, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. And he used the dirt, and the dirt is brown, to make Adam. Now, I don't know if you guys know anything about science, but on your DNA strand, all that is a series of information, and it can't produce anything other than what's on that information. That's science. If Adam and Eve were two black people, everybody on the planet would be black. If Adam and Eve were two white people, everybody on the planet would be white. Where did these white people come from? Where did these white people come from? Go with me. Yes, Yah used the dirt. The dirt is brown. Adam had hair, wool, brown eyes, and brown skin. What did he use to make Eve? That's Genesis chapter 2, verse 21. He took her rib, or Adam's rib. Okay. Eve, her ribs are pinkish.
What?
Eve was a white woman. If you're looking at the material, unless God is a racist, he wouldn't have changed the material. And he took it from Adam's rib. Ribs are curved. So here we go. There's a dream in the land with his back against the wall. By many a strange names, it is sometimes called. There are those who claim this dream never to be mauled. Now that's a sin, as we all stand tall. To claim the dream for one is to claim the dream for all. It's Master Teacher. Thank you.
God bless you.
Y'all, I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that man trying to say. Does he have a thing for white women? I don't get it. Y'all have me go and watch that? That's a mess. That's a mess. Like, what was the purpose? And he didn't even talk about his daughter. Y'all need to be real about people having reactions regarding this. Y'all need to be a little more real about it, because it's weird. It's like there's like this eerie weirdness behind this. And I don't know where that energy is coming from, but it's like if you can feel energy, it's like eerie and it's weird. And then the people and the things that they're doing is weird. I don't know. But y'all need to be honest about that. Something ain't right with this situation. I don't even know what it is. It just feel weird. It don't feel right. It doesn't feel sentimental. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. Okay, let me go back. This man spoke nothing but the truth, an uncomfortable truth. Some probably would say inappropriate truth, but let's go ahead and take a look to see what he has to say. Okay. I'm like, I don't even know why he said what he said in the way that he said it. I have no idea what that man was talking about.
About them kids?
If he was surprised that he got a free haircut.
Nigga don't give a shit about them kids. What? He out here, bruh.
This is different. What the
nigga didn't marry their mama?
It's different.
Listen, hold on, bruh. The nigga didn't marry their mama. Stuck 3 babies in her, never married her.
I think he's engaged.
Hold on. They never said that she was his fiance. They were like his partner.
They did.
When I watched the news, it went from partner to fiance. Niggas said a lot of shit when somebody dead. It was partner.
They also wrongly reported.
Let me finish.
Hold on, let him
I didn't say one word.
Let him get his point on.
She was his partner. She wasn't his fiance. The nigga's lying. That's for publicity reasons. PR. You put 3 babies in her and you ain't married her yet. You don't give a shit about her and you don't care about them kids.
I do not.
What, man? Wait. Look, I didn't say that when y'all talk. Listen, bro. On everything I love, what nigga gonna let his kid's mama go under the knife unnecessarily? Surgery is a serious issue.
What if he?
My wife got a minor surgery, bro. Very minor. Very minor. I was stressed the fuck out. Like, are you sure they got to do this? Can they give you pills? It's like when it's your wife and you thinking about your kids and you thinking about, is something happened? You know she ain't going to the doctor like she's supposed to because she had an underlying heart condition that a regular EKG would have caught.
Is that what it was?
That's what killed her. That's what killed her.
I didn't know.
I go get my heart, all that checked every year, every adult, even at.
Now, I don't know where he got that information from, this underlying heart condition, because I don't think anything has been released yet. I could be wrong, but I don't know where he got that information from. If you know, let me know in the chat.
30, 25 should do that. So this lady is getting surgery from a doctor who was notorious for bad surgeries. She has an underlying heart condition, which means they wasn't on top of her health. He probably wasn't making sure she was going to the doctor like she supposed to, and then he lets her go do that. There's no reason why he should have let that girl do that, because she's trying to do that shit probably because he out smashing other chicks, and she like, damn, I gotta be able to compete with these chicks. Like, we talk about everything but except what it really is. She trying to keep up with that nigga. She trying to make sure she still looks attractive, so he look at her like something, and she's going and getting under the knife for that stuff. And people don't believe that. But when you was bad, like how she bad, and then you having babies and shit, and your body start taking hits, and your man out on the road smashing groupies, and you know it because you know they know it. They know it.
You gotta know, yeah.
You now are like,
ladies, he said your body is taking hits. Men don't want to acknowledge that, but they want us to acknowledge how they supposed to put their body on the line to protect us. Okay, well, you want us to put our bodies on the line to produce these children. So my body's taking hits. Your body may never take a hit. Like, let's be for real. Your body may never take a hit. It may, but it may never. So let's be for real here. But listen to what this man is saying, because women, I feel like modern women, we giving away kids like it's nothing. Like, we have watered down childbirth. It is a sacrifice. You lose blood when you give birth. It is a sacrifice every single time. Then we can get into how your body changes. It doesn't look the same. It takes forever for you to get back in your mindset that you were in prior to conceiving and carrying and all of that. It takes a lot out of you. So it should be a privilege for a man to get a baby. It shouldn't just be oh, it's whatever. No, it's not whatever. It's not whatever. You should never put your life on the line to give a man kids, and he hasn't done right by you. He has to do right by you first. He has to show you that he's worth doing that for, because not every man out here is worth doing that for. Not every man out here is worth you putting your life on the line. Just like how these men like to say, oh, every woman out here ain't worth me putting my life on the line. So it's the same in reverse. It's the same. Every man ain't out here worth you putting your body on the line. They are not. They are not. So you need to see things for what they really are, and not over fantasize and create this false reality in your mind about who this man is. You need to get real clear about who this man is before you get pregnant, before you decide to have his kids.
What about me? What do I got to do to get him to look at me like he once did? That's on the man. And these women is out here choosing these goofball ass dudes because they got money. He's a damn goofball. And I can't call a man a goofball for being a comedian, but I can call a man a goofball for letting his damn baby mama go unnecessarily under the knife, knowing we ain't on top of her health, making sure she's 100% fit, knowing that if she go down, you got 3 kids who ain't got a mama. I'm not letting my wife do that. That's how I know she wasn't his wife.
It's kind of absurd to say that he don't care about his kids because of that. That don't even make sense. That's like, this is what I'm saying though. This is what I'm saying though. That's like somebody with a baby mama because they split up with their baby mama. Now I don't give a fuck about the kids no more. Like, what type of shit is that?
Some niggas don't.
But that's what I'm saying. But you can't just sit here and make an assumption that he don't care about his kids or care about her. And on top of that, by them having money or being in a financial space, he probably not thinking that this surgery is gonna go back.
I just want to put out here that this man that spoke on this podcast, he spoke about this before the funeral, before we heard the joke. He spoke about this. He gave his opinion on this situation before the funeral was even done, which I felt was in poor taste. That's just my opinion, because it's like, listen, the woman ain't even in the ground yet. At least allow her to be buried. you know, but he gave his opinion before. This podcast was aired before the funeral, before he made that horrible joke. So let's keep that in mind. Like, I just, that's the best joke you can come up with. You're a creative person in the mind. That's the best joke you can come up with behind your partner losing her life behind a mommy makeover. That's the best joke he could have came up with. We've seen this man on Wild 'N Out. He does shows. That's the best joke he could come up with. That's crazy. So this man is saying he really didn't care about her, and it's coming across that way. It's coming across that way.
I'm probably thinking I got the best doctors. I got the best
there
shit.
you go.
So I'm not thinking from a perspective of this is finna happen.
Well, that's the history of bad reviews.
It don't matter. How did you even find this out?
I researched it.
You researched it.
Bro, I do a podcast every day.
I know. So you researched and found out that this was the baddest doctor ever.
And
nobody would have warned them or told them about this.
I gotta find it hard to believe, because when you got money, you're gonna pay for the best.
That's what people think.
I'm not pocket checking DC Young Fly, but I know he's not nobody broke.
And even more absurd is to be like, oh, she doing it to keep up with bitches. Listen, listen.
I'm not gonna say that's absurd.
No, I do. I respect your opinion. This is what I think. They don't live like us regular ass people. They don't, right?
Exactly. So if she's with a man that truly cares about her, right? He's going to put in whatever he needs to put in to ensure that you have a better experience and a better outcome, right? So just like he put in this money for this funeral, why didn't he do that when it came to her procedure? Because the interesting thing is when she went and she got her augmentation done 5 years ago with her boobs and everything like that, she went to a place in LA, and then she ended up going to this doctor that's not even board certified, which we're going to get into this doctor at the end, so please stay tuned for that. But it's like, okay, yeah, they don't live like us. They're not regular folks. So why couldn't she have gotten a better doctor? She did the first time and the other few times that she went and got work done, because she's known for getting work done.
Right? They live in Hollywood. They're on fucking TV every day. So her, again, what she's selling is her image, right?
Yeah.
She has to look a certain way at all times. And then what's even more ridiculous is for you to be like, how can he let her? You just said wholeheartedly, that's not his wife. So basically, no, let me talk. He's supposed to have control of this baby mama. And listen, I can't stand, you're gonna have to die on that fucking hill. I don't stand on that. She doing this and doing that.
And I got a guest that I'm about to introduce here.
So we're about to get into this doctor. So these surgeries are free. Black China confirmed that. Interesting. I thought the girls were getting a discount. So the surgery is free. Okay, that makes sense. Someone said that he's cheap. This is why I tell you ladies all the time that it's not about a man having money. It's about him having integrity. It's about him exercising the fact that he doesn't have a scarcity mindset, because most men who have a scarcity mindset, they tend to be cheap and stingy. So you out here chasing men in clubs. I'm telling you now, most men in clubs, they have a poverty mindset, a scarcity mindset. I wouldn't go and meet a man in a club and take him serious. I wouldn't, unless it's just for a good time. That's it. So you have to be careful with that, because just because a man has money, that doesn't mean anything. If he comes from not the best upbringing or the best situation, he carries that burden with you and into the relationship. And then if I want to also say that, if he doesn't work on his trauma and some of the things that he has gone through, he's going to carry that further into the relationship. So you have to be careful about that. Like, a lot of girls are just aiming to get a man with money. And I'm going to tell you now, just because you get a man with money, that does not mean he does not have dusty tendencies and dusty behavior. So you got to be careful about that. Like, just because he got money, that don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing. He could be stingy. He could have a scarcity mindset. It could be a mess. It could be like another Jason Pitt from The Game. No. So you gonna have to get in rooms with people that don't have those type of issues. In the club, I'm sorry, but the club is used for escapism. right? It's used to escape. It's used for escapism. So you're not going to meet the best quality in there. You're just not. So you got to be careful with that. So let's get into this doctor, because part of the reason why I wanted to do this video was to bring awareness to plastic surgery on my platform. I'm not here to tell women what they should do with their bodies, because at the end of the day, I have seen women get their bodies done and their currency went up. I'm going to just say that. And they're not even selling sex. That's just me being real with you. They're not selling sex. They just get a lot of free things because their appearance has changed and people treat you different. So I'm not here to convince you of anything. At the end of the day, you have to make the best choice for you. The only thing I can advise is for you to be safe, be smart, do your research. That's it. I can't advise you to do anything else, because it would be wrong of me to sit up here and say, oh, you shouldn't get this, you shouldn't get that done. But even I had experiences with me just losing weight and how people treat me so different. So I can only imagine if you go out here and say you got some work done. I don't know. It could be anything that could truly enhance your appearance, right? It's going to offer you certain privileges and opportunities. That is the real world that we live in. And it's like nobody wants to talk about that. You want to have this kumbaya moment and be fake positive about the situation. And it's just like, that's fake to me. Like, it's not real. It's bullshit. So if we're going to have a real conversation about it, we need to address the pressure that we women face, and then the privileges that we get when we get all of this stuff, quote unquote, done, and how men can't stand it, and how, but it, you know, what's so interesting to me, ladies, about this entire situation is men talk about plastic surgery. They talk about BBLs. They talk about OnlyFans girls. They talk about porn stars. They talk about all of these things, but somehow they are the number one consumers of all of these things. They like to indulge in these things. They love to have a woman on the arm that has the work done, that has the lace front, the nails, just high maintenance. They want that girl. They maybe can't afford her, but they still want her though. They want the girl that looks good because they can impress other men socially. Like, let's be real about it. The game ain't changed. This game been going on for centuries. When kings and queens walked among us, this game been going on for centuries. Women's beauties, their bodies, their wombs were used to elevate men in status. That is exactly what it was used for. So times have not changed. So I feel like it's disingenuous for us to have this conversation and not address where it originated from. It originated from a very real place. So I feel like it's not fair to say what a person don't need, what a woman don't need. Like, y'all, back in the day, if y'all think that this is a big deal, back in the day, women were out here doing crazy stuff for beauty. Crazy stuff. You think the corsets is something that's new? No, that's been around. That's been around. Women were out here doing crazy beauty enhancements before surgery, plastic surgery, got to where it was or is today. So let's address history first. Let's address centuries of women putting their life and their bodies on the line to appear a certain way. But let's be real about it as well. When we say, when you improve your appearance, it ups your status, you get opportunities, and you get privileges. That is the game, and that is how it goes. And so women are peeping that game, and the women that can truly afford it, they're going out here, they're getting the work done to increase their status. Now, some women, depending on their lifestyle, because every lifestyle is not the same. OnlyFans models, I mean, they're getting the exaggerated plastic surgery. But then other women are not getting the exaggerated plastic surgery. Women that are not so big on social media and OnlyFans and porn and all that, they get more conservative plastic surgery done. But it's still enhancing their status. It's still enhancing their lifestyle. But why is that? Why does that happen? Why is it that we get better treatment when we do these things that the world and society claims we don't need? If that's true, why is our life more leisure? Why is it more luxurious when we do these things? Make it make sense. Because y'all say natural, y'all preach it all day, every day, But then I just saw Chloe on the Shade Room, and all I saw was a bunch of men in the comments like, "Oh my God, she looks so good," da, 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 da. And she had on a lace front wig. Her locks were not in. But then we'll hear it all day, every day. Oh, men, they like natural hair. Y'all don't know what y'all like. I'm convinced. It's all about what you want in that moment, what you find suitable, what's going to benefit you in that moment. That's what you like. And a lot of men like the polished look because it increases their status within society. The game ain't changed. It's still the same. So you want that attractive looking woman on your arm because it impresses other men. Let's be real. Let's be real about it. So y'all need to have that conversation. Men need to have that conversation first before they start coming online talking about a woman don't need this and don't need that. Please stop. Please stop. And then women, you know this better than anybody. You know how you're treated when you have your natural hair, right? Versus when you have your weave, or when you have your weave versus when you have your natural hair. When you step in this environment versus when you step in this environment. When you wear heels versus when you wear flats. You know, and then we can even go further and say when you wear wedges versus when you wear more of a skinny heel. It's not the same treatment. It's not. So please, let's be real about this conversation if we're going to have it. That's all I got to say about it. But let's get into this doctor. It's not the same.
Just a second. Who knows, who has a lot of background on this particular doctor, because apparently he's been, and I want to say allegedly, just kind of working his way around the system. Okay. Not taking tests, not getting certified, been trying to get his business up. I guess he's been trying to, build his particular practice up.
Somebody said, you're basically saying men run us. No, because it doesn't just, I wish it started with just men and it stopped with men, but appearances are big for people, period. Because if you think I got better treatment from just men, no, I got better treatment from women as well. That's how shallow women can be as well. Let's be for real. Because if we're going to be for real about this conversation, women are quick to tear you down because they're projecting their insecurities onto you, right? They talk about your hair, your nails, your eyebrows, your makeup, your how you groom yourself. Hell, they may even talk about where you go to get your hair done. So no, it's not a man thing. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not a man thing. Women are the quickest ones to tear you down over some shit they should have more understanding about. Because you're a woman. You have to get dressed in the morning just like I have to get dressed in the morning. You got to walk outside and walk down the street just like I do. But yet you're tearing me down because of my appearance, because you're projecting your insecurities on me. There's something in me that you don't like because that's your own. That's your own liking. That's your own liking. So why are you projecting your own liking on me? Just worry about yourself. But women don't know how to do that. They like to live through other women. That's part of the problem. So yeah, there's an issue with men, but there's also an issue with women as well. Women are out here living above their means to impress other women because men don't even care about that. They don't care about if you have a purse from Target versus if you went to the Coach store. They don't care about that. You care about that. You know who else care about that? Other women. Other women care about that. So no, it's not a man thing. It's not. It's a society thing. So let's stay focused on that. Yes, I can speak on the men, but I can speak on the women as well. Women compete with other women. Women compete with other women. It kills them. It pains them that a woman is out here living her life a certain way. And so now she feels like, oh, I got to compete with that. I got to keep up with that. No, you don't. You can just be yourself. And see, I'm going to be moving my Decentering Men series to my other YouTube channel because this is not the space for it. So I'm going to be moving that to my other YouTube channel, but we're going to talk about that more because yes, the pressure, it's here, right? It's here from both men and women society. The pressure is here, yet you have to still choose yourself. You have to center yourself. That's what the Decentering Men series is all about, is you taking men out the equation, society, and anybody else, and you center yourself and you make yourself the center focus. And then you live your life according to that, whatever that looks like. That's it. So I'm going to be moving it to my other YouTube channel, The Feminine Yoni. I'm going to be getting into some other topics over there. And I'm just going to keep this platform toxic, trendy, and drama, whatever. But that other channel is going to be different. We're going to take a different angle with that channel over there. So I already started recording. I'm going to remove the videos off of this channel and repost them over there. And then I'm just going to start and continue my series over there because it's just a better space to be, in my opinion. Then I don't have to hear the negativity or see it. And then it doesn't have to kill my YouTube channel, my engagement. So thank you. Thank you for the super chats. Let's continue though. Let's get into this doctor because I really want Tasha K to talk about this because this part in her live, nobody is really talking about, but it was so informative. So please listen to Tasha K and the doctor that she brought. Well, not the doctor, but the specialist that she brought on to talk about plastic surgery, particularly in the state of Florida.
Up and, you know, partnering with people like Miss Jacky Oh in order to do that. And, you know, I guess the deal was she was supposed to post, you know, her mommy makeover to her, you know, over 1 million followers. And so, you know what, I'm just going to let the guest give me his last name, okay? Because I damn sure forgot. But we ain't forgot about this story, okay? And so without further ado, we have Isis Richardson with us, okay? She runs a surgery blog, okay? It's called Surgery 411. It's called Surgery 411. We've gotten a lot of information from her particular blog because she posts facts. She posts lawsuits. She posts receipts. She was one of the first blogs to receive the information before the public knew. And I'm sure the family is not interested in letting the public know what's going on, especially when they get information as tragic as what the Smith family has gotten. And so, you know, I've been on the phone with her for a few days now, and she's been pulling lots of receipts on Dr. Zach here. And I'm just going to introduce her and let her kind of explain, you know, his background and, you know, some of the things that he was doing that just didn't seem right, okay, in this profession. And this is the war on all women, okay, whether you're a young girl, whether you're an older woman getting a mommy makeover. When it comes to this surgery, I'm going to be honest with you, Surgery 411, it ain't nothing they can't get you, okay, especially when it comes to these doctors putting gag orders on patients and things like that, and having lawsuits against patients and stuff like that. So let me go ahead and introduce Isis. Isis, how you doing?
Tasha, thank you so much for having me. It truly is an honor, especially when blogs like yours, you know, want to partner with blogs to find out what's going on in the surgery community. You know, I do this every single day, and I've been doing this for the last 6 years. But when bigger blogs step in to really push the story out there, that's exactly what we need to get this to the masses because, you know, the surgery community knows, but a lot of women consider having surgery, whether they become a mom for the first time or, you know, I was anti-surgery, but now I'm thinking about it because I realized that I have some loose skin. And this is information that consumers need to know, even if you were anti-surgery, so you could tell a friend to tell a friend. And that's really how Surgery 411 grew. We started off as a social hangout on Instagram with only 1 follower, grew to 1,000 followers. It grew to losing my page, getting a second page, starting over. I have WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, because I truly, truly, truly believe in, you know, patients knowing before they go and on every single platform so that this way this information doesn't die. I've seen platforms like Yelp, scrub reviews. I've seen platforms like Real Self Block reviews. And, you know, there's just so much. You would think that with there being doctors, there would be a lot of transparency, but it's actually the opposite. There's a lot of people, patients including, that aren't sharing reviews. Like patients get hurt and they're afraid of being sued. So no one is speaking out.
Okay. What is Dr. Zach's last name?
So his first name is actually his Zachary, and his last name is Okhah. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Okay. But he goes by Dr. Zach. So sometimes what will happen is that a lot of doctors may go by a tag, their first name, a middle name, a last name. And sometimes that is because if they put their last name out there, a patient's just going to go ahead and let me just put this person's name in Google. And sometimes those bad reviews come up. Sometimes those lawsuits may come up. So sometimes when you see a doctor using a tag name, you really want to make sure that you know his first name and his last name. So even though Dr. Zach is going by, abbreviated, his name is Dr. Zachary. And then I don't want to butcher it, but it's Okhah. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name. Okay. He doesn't use it.
Now, real quick before we get into this. Now, there are young girls, older women that die a lot on the table or even leave in the hospital, right? But I've never seen anyone with this many followers pass away, especially when it was involving some sort of, like I said, I don't know the details of it, but it looks like it was a promotional surgery. Like, I'll do the surgery for you in exchange for you posting the results. And so sometimes you said that can be free, that could be for a discounted rate and things like that. And his practice was here in Miami, although he didn't have a huge practice. He had to somewhat subcontract himself with other doctors in order to get work because he was building up his practice.
So that's actually right, Tasha. So a lot of doctors, they could do one or two things. They can go into private practice, which for some doctors can be extremely lucrative and ideal. And for other doctors, they may decide that they want to attach themselves to another doctor that focuses on the overhead and the cost. And they'll show up and perform the surgeries and basically receive compensation at a fraction of the cost. So I have heard of doctors receiving anywhere from 20 to 30% of the surgeries when they're not in private practice. So doctors can receive, they can do a full mommy makeover, and depending on how much the surgery center or another doctor charge, if they only receive a fraction of that, sometimes $1,500. And there have been patients who said, I booked him at such and such clinic, and then I booked him at his private practice. And patients who sometimes say they booked the doctor at their private practice definitely get a different experience because, unfortunately, to keep prices low, the typical supply and demand, lower prices, we need more people coming through, and it's like a revolving door. I want to go.
Is that why? Let me interject for a second. Is that why Florida passed a law limiting how many BBLs a doctor can do a day? Because I think it went from they can do as many as they want to now I believe it's only 3. Is that correct?
So I actually had a patient, someone that worked at a center in Miami, leaked to me the schedule for the day. It was Dawes Plastic Surgery. They leaked to me the schedule for the day, and when Dr. Harry was doing surgery there, they had him schedule one day with his name with over 20 patients on the schedule. They ended up mailing me a cease and desist claiming that schedule wasn't true, it was false, but it came from a person that worked inside the office, and they wanted patients to know, look, you guys are coming down here and not knowing that there could be multiple patients and it's not just you. And how can a doctor really do a BBL? I was in the OR in Dominican Republic. A BBL is laborious, from the liposuction, from the fat transfer, from standing on your feet all day. How can a doctor really do 20 procedures a day, right? And so we know that doctors are getting help. Sometimes doctors are ghosting patients where they see the surgeon entering and then the surgeon leaves. And that's just not a Miami thing. That's happening all throughout the United States and some abroad as well. And when that happens, patients sometimes wake up and have good results, so they swear the doctor did it. And then patients have bad results, and they're like, was it the doctor or was it someone else?
Okay, tell us about Dr. Zachariah Okai. What do you know about him?
So I just want to go back to your last point about the question you asked me about why was Miami starting to pass the limit. So I came up into the BBL industry in 2014. I mean, they were putting women to stay in barns, unlicensed recovery houses. People were getting not so much deaths. Yes, deaths were happening, but people were getting botched, hurt. The state of Florida was like a mad zoo, and they had to, for a very long time, kind of figure out what is this problem. I'm surprised that this happened a lot later than it did because people were actually dying in 2014 to 2017 more rapidly than now. And so the research collective showed that the BBL was one of the most dangerous cosmetic enhancement procedures, especially in the hands of untrained doctors, because if they injected the fat into the muscle, it could cause fat embolism, and there were patients actually dying on the table. When we dug a little bit deeper and found out who these doctors were, they were legally okay to provide do plastic surgery, even if they weren't plastic surgeons. So Florida had put a limit where doctors could only do 3 BBLs, but to me, it was counterproductive because the limit is really limiting who can do BBLs, not necessarily the amount, right? So we have pediatricians, dermatologists, we have dentists doing liposuction BBL. And really what we need to focus on is making sure that the most skilled doctors do. There were orders put in place by, plastic surgeons coming together and saying, listen, we can't inject into the muscle anymore, even though that's how we've been trained. And so a lot of doctors objected, saying, well, the research doesn't really show that there's a national outcry. 8 patients died in, I guess, over the span of 8 years. When you calculate the amount of women that had plastic surgery, doctors are saying it's only 1%, if even. And so is there really, a dilemma?
Okay. That's a lot. That is a lot. Okay. So you mean to tell me you don't have to be board certified to practice plastic surgery? You could just be any type of doctor and throw up a liposuction sign, throw up I do breast implants. As long as you came out of medical school, you can perform plastic surgery.
That's
Florida.
correct, Tasha. And on top of that, if you got some money in the bank, you could give Dr. Miami $20,000. He'll put you in the OR with him, teach you how to do liposuction, take photos with him, have you eat off of his cloud, and train doctors, pediatricians, dermatologists, anyone that wants to go through his little whatever he does. And
he's selling BBL courses or something like.
So this is what they do, like in any industry, right? I guess there's continuing education.
Yeah, like the lash tech extensions and stuff. People learn how to do lashes and microblading and all that stuff. And
yep. So if you pay Dr. Miami $20,000 and you're a doctor, he has a whole little mini course where you'll be put up on his Instagram. You'll be shown in the OR. He'll show you how to do lipo. He'll let you do lipo with him, and then you're kind of off to doing your own thing. And so the controversy with the board is that the American Board of Plastic Surgery is voluntary. So surgeons that are getting out of their fellowship, they're saying, well, you know what? We're plastic surgeons. Okay, we don't have to take the board. And they're writing the codes of being board eligible. The American Board of Plastic Surgery, even though a voluntary board, is one of the most prestigious boards that a doctor that is going into plastic surgery can sit on. And so doctors that are doing that, they have to do a written or oral exam. And then a lot of times it's like, well, why isn't this doctor on the board? Is it because he failed? And so these are questions that patients aren't necessarily having the knowledge or the wherewithal to ask. And so one patient on to Dr. Zach actually asked him, I would have loved for you to do his liposuction, but you're not board certified. And he told the patient, like, oh,
you talking about this Dr. Zach here who I got on the screen?
Yes, this Dr. Zach. He told the patient, let me pull up the receipts on what he told the patient so I could quote it word for word. Because with him, if you don't quote it word for word, he's going to try to come for you with defamation and pulling up definitions on Google and stuff. So we're going to get to that part too.
Okay.
So what he said to a patient after she said, I would like for you to do my lipo, but after doing some research, she found out that Dr. Zach was not board certified. He's with the American Board of Plastic Surgery. Now there's two boards. There's the American Board of Plastic Surgery, and then there's the American Board of Cosmetic Surgery, which, just because you're a cosmetic surgeon does not mean you're a plastic surgeon. And that's something that a lot of people get confused on too. Wait, this doctor's on the board. Well, guess what? A pediatrician could eventually do some courses and sit on the board of plastic surgery. But the American Board of Plastic Surgery would never allow a pediatrician or a dermatologist to sit on that board. So Dr. Zach said, board certification is a written test that has nothing to do with what I do in the operating room, right? The reason Florida couldn't say that only board certified plastic surgeons can do BBLs is because almost all the deaths were at the hands of board certified plastic surgeons. It's a marketing scam. He goes on to say, I actually teach board certified plastic surgeons how to do my surgery. I trained and successfully completed a plastic surgery residency at Brown University, making me board eligible. Honestly, this is what matters. The American Society of Plastic Surgery created the board certification process to distinguish between plastic surgeons and cosmetic surgeons, the latter group being doctors who trained in other fields and are trying to practice plastic surgery. The problem with the distinction is that cosmetic surgeons created a board certification of their own to trick the general public. The system was never meant to distinguish between board eligible and board certified plastic surgeons, if that makes sense.
So that's Dr. Zach's quote.
Mm-hmm.
The same man who operated on Jacky O.
The same man that operated on Jacky O.
Not even board certified. Now Brown University is like an Ivy League school, right?
This is my thing. You went through fellowship. You at one of the most prestigious schools, and so if you train board certified plastic surgeons, why aren't you sitting on the board? Because if the whole thing that just strikes me as perplexing is if you train board certified plastic surgeons and you went to the most prestigious fellowship, then passing the board, you should have had your fellowship already, right? So that was a little bit alarming for me. There was another website that I saw that had him listed as being a part of a fellowship that when we looked up, he wasn't a part of. Let me just pull that up.
Surgery 411_, right?
Yeah, and Surgery 411 official is the main page. Unfortunately, the industry that I am in, it is the biggest industry of censorship, silencing, because this is big money on the table, right? One BBL could be anywhere from $6,000 to $20,000. So doctors have a lot at stake to try to protect their name from being associated with this. So we found that there was one site saying that Dr. Zachary was a part of the Fellow of American College of Surgeons. And after looking him up on their official website, which is www.facs.org, his name was not listed there. So even though he doesn't publish that on his website, there's another site doing that. So patients have to make sure that when they're looking for information, that sites are giving them consistent information, because sometimes there are sites that are misleading. So when we get into Dr. Zach, after going back to his Instagram, I looked at it and it said that he's a lipo/BBL specialist. And we know that
a specialist.
She went in for mommy makeover.
A specialist.
Right. A specialist. Like who used I didn't, that was a little bit concerning to me. On his main account, it says founder of PH1 Miami. He's a liposuction/BBL specialist. So when you had a woman that came in for a mommy makeover, which is usually a combination procedure, if your specialty is liposuction BBL, Why was that your patient? Because a huge part of medicine is about being competent. And so we see a lot of doctors like, look, I told you, Tasha, I've had 2 tummy tucks, 3 BBLs, cosmetic enhancement, foot shortening, rhinoplasty, teeth, breast augmentation. And I stand there to say that I go to doctors that is what they do every single day. So my rhinoplasty doctor in Istanbul, Turkey, he's doing, shout out to Dr. Bora, he's doing 3 rhinoplasties a day. Year in to year out, he's a specialist in doing ethnic rhinoplasties. So I remember, just for like the joke of it, there was a doctor who did my BBL, and I was entertaining the thought of nose rhinoplasty with him. And he was really sitting there like, yeah, I would do your rhino. And this man is never close to doing a rhinoplasty a day in his life. But if I were to allow him, he would do it. And that's the scary thing about medicine, that there are so many doctors acting out of competency. And so if your bio says liposuction BBL specialist, then how do you have a patient that does a mommy makeover? And a lot of times, and the reason why you can go and say that, okay, we know that this procedure was either heavily discounted and or free, was because of the photo that was posted. So whenever you see anyone that has 990,000 followers, almost 1 million, posting next to a plastic surgeon and sharing that information, because you have to remember, plastic surgery has always been taboo, right? Women want to look like they had it done, but they really don't want to talk about it unless that's the industry that they're in. Whenever you see someone next to a doctor, I'm on the business side as well, the marketing. It's usually marketing. You get the procedure for either 50% discounted, free, or sometimes even compensated, right? Because this industry is all about the latest person going to that doctor and making them hot. And so when I scrolled down on Dr. Zach's page, I saw that there was another influencer who went to them who had like over 9 million followers. So it seems like he was really trying to appeal to a certain type of woman, small, petite. And if you look at his page, you're like, oh, okay, looks like he does great liposuction. But his bio is saying he just focuses on lipo BBL. And if you're in private practice, why are you burying yourself down with clinic work?
What does that mean?
So basically, in Miami, there are surgery centers, and so they need doctors to do work, right? And so we know that sometimes these doctors are doing work at discounted prices. So at a clinic, not all, but some, you can maybe get a BBL for $3,500. So think about that. Once again, I told you the doctor's only getting a percentage of the total cost. That could be anywhere from 30 to 50. And the doctor is never, unless the doctor is like seasoned there, he's vetted, he's loyal, doctors aren't going to receive 60% of the overall cost of the surgery. So if a doctor who's Brown educated accepts to do a BBL or a tummy tuck for $3,500, $4,500, whatever the agreement is, so he's making $1,000. But this is a day. So he would need to see on average, depending on what he sees suitable, right? Maybe 5, 10 patients a day, plus having private practice. Like I said, this is laborious. There's no way that a doctor, and if you speak to doctors, they'll tell you there's no way a doctor could do more than 3 BBLs a day, not even maybe 2, especially because we know some girls are coming in there with a lot of things that need to be liposuctioned. How can a doctor do that much work?
Now, let me ask you something. When it comes to Dr. Zach, you did find a lawsuit on him. What was that about? And then we're gonna wrap this up. Because I know we can talk about this all day, but I'm gonna have you back whenever these situations happen, because I'm gonna start putting these motherfuckers on blast. Period.
We got you, Tasha. We got you. I've been doing this for 6 years, and I'll tell you, like, they'll do the most. Like, I've cease and desist, threatening you. They watching from fake pages, or it's just so much because they don't want this information out. So I'm so grateful for this opportunity. So I just want to go through some things real quick and let you know what I found out about Dr. Zach, because I've been doing some digging. So he actually sued a patient in 2021 because she went on Real Self, which is a platform that you can find out information about doctors, and she said that he mutilated her based on looking at her body after having seen him and saying, okay, I don't like these results. Because she used the word mutilated, he had his attorney basically define what mutilated is. And so by definition, mutilated is basically destroying something. But it has to be like an area that couldn't be like repaired. And he sued her for defamation in court for $30,000. There was another time where a patient tried to sue him for poking her intestines, and that lawsuit didn't go further. But, these doctors are wealthy. They're extremely wealthy. I mean, we've seen it happen even with Rolly's doctor. Like I told you, they sued me in court. I was representing myself pro se. I couldn't keep, fighting. So it's just so much that goes on in this industry, Tasha. We could keep going about it, but I definitely suggest that patients Google their doctor's real name. They look to see if their doctor is board certified. Even though it is a voluntary board, they are going to have to sit through a rigorous written and oral exam. And then they get monitored by the board, right? So if you don't do what you are supposed to, the board can take away your board certification. There's consequences to being on the board. Make sure you know all the clinics or states that your doctor has worked in. There could be reviews about them in, let's say, Miami, but they also worked in New York or Rhode Island. And also checking local state websites because sometimes doctors do have lawsuits that are there and they could be in IP holdings. So you're searching for the doctor's names and you can't find the lawsuit because the company was sued. So the doctor's name isn't attached and it can get real shady. I don't know if we have any time, Tasha, just to touch over the whole, how do you do BMI on a person with a 52? If not, we could definitely do that the next time.
Child, did you just come for Rolly?
Girl, you know, I told you I'm bounded by not being able
pull the comments back up real quick. Hold on, pull the comments back up real quick. Do y'all want to hear this last part about Rolly? I mean, that is a very interesting case, and she's done her research on it. I'm gonna let y'all decide. Do y'all want to hear about it, or we close here and bring her back? What you want to do? How long you think it's gonna take? Like 10 minutes?
With Rolly, I'm gonna just do the rundown. I think I just need 2 minutes.
Okay, go ahead. Get to him. Go ahead. Roll it, Polo.
Extremely disheartening to see that, you know, I understand being on TV and having your image. Look, I go live, I don't wear makeup. And, you know, when you know, being in the blogs, Tasha, everybody's always going to try to come for your looks. And, you know, especially being women of color, we're even heavily scrutinized. And then Rolly is on the heavier side. But there's a way to go about weight loss. And unfortunately, Rolly just didn't go about it in the right way. With her having a 52 BMI, right? That is her BMI, her body mass index. What does that mean? That means that by definition, Rolly is considered to be morbidly obese and potentially suffering from serious health conditions, right? Doesn't mean that we have, I'm not saying she has health conditions, potentially, whether they could be, you know, I have not seen her medical record, so I'm just putting that out there. And we know that weight puts extra pressure on your body and several organs could be impacted and affected by that. Being overweight and obese individuals are more likely to have just these types of health conditions, right? There could be more or not. Type 2 diabetes, suffering from stroke, hypertension. And so a patient with a 52 BMI would never, ever be cleared to have surgery by an American board certified plastic surgeon, especially not in an office-based center. So what we see a lot of times is that patients are not having surgery in medical offices. They're having surgery in office suites, which is legal and allowed, but only a certain amount of that could be taken out of the patient, right? And so with Rolly having a 52 BMI, I'm almost certain that an independent cardiologist or primary care physician did not clear her for surgery. Very certain. I had to do my foot surgery. There was a stress on my EKG. I had to do an echo exam, and my podiatrist almost didn't clear me for surgery. And my BMI is not even over a 32. So very, very alarming. Just because we see something being done does not make it, you know, correct or right. And so
let me ask you a question. How they gonna lipo her chest, her back wide, and her front wide? How they gonna lipo all that down?
So the whole point about it is anyone can stick a cannula in you, Tasha, and tell you they take out some fat and you seemed it. And, you know, just to play devil's advocate, I saw the chin lipo. I'll give her that the chin lipo actually I could.
But the neck still had rolls.
And, you know, and Rolly came to the comments. She pulled up in the comments when it smoked, talking about, oh, you know, y'all just got to wait and see, y'all haters. And once again, the cameras were rolling, right? So it's going to be on Zeus Network. And they did her front lipo. They're going to turn around in 2 months, do her back lipo, then turn around and do her tummy tuck. And so patients that have extreme weight, the tummy tuck is something that you're going to do after you lost weight. And you're doing the tummy tuck to do an internal corset, right? Repairing that muscle wall that has been separated and going ahead and removing all loose skin. Rolly has not reached her peak of losing all her weight, right? And so how do you put her under and then say, okay, we're going to do this on a patient who has a 52 BMI? Like, doctors were like, wow.
And she's still fat, because you know there's two types of fat. There's visceral fat and subcutaneous fat or something like that. So the visceral fat still going to surround the heart, even though they taking out the subcutaneous fat.
Rolly should have done she should have done weight loss first. And I know she said that she did, right? So I'm sure she took some pills or something, or was under the Dr. Sabi's training or something like that. But everyone said Rolly should have did the sleeve. She should have did, but not lay on a table and just be getting liposuction out, especially because, you know, it's so dangerous. I didn't see, she had 2 white towels covering her breast and she was holding them as lipo was being done. And I've just never seen liposuction performed in.
Yeah, they supposed to have a blue like little papers, like what is it, like the blue sheets I see when they put you under surgery, but not towels.
But usually with a patient that a doctor has to take out more, you're going to see those procedures done in a hospital. And even so, like, you know, because liposuction is an elective procedure, not seeing patients with a 52 BMI. And so, you know, a lot of things that patients don't understand is marketing and gimmicks. So what is the next thing that's rolled out, right? The next thing that we see rolled out is that there's some type of marketing behind this. There's some type of gimmick. So patients.
So they're trying to infringe on the $5,000 gastric sleeve to say, hey, come do lipo and we'll sculpt you. It don't matter how big you are. So they're trying to get into getting overweight women into into doing liposuction and BBLs and stuff. Because when she said she had a BBL, I said, where?
Right. And how could you take fats away from a person that has a 52 BMI and then stick it back right into their butt? Like there's like now Akbar, shout out to Akbar, she did it the correct way. And so when you look at Akbar, even though I do not like Dr. Curves or, because I've had patients that he's botched and completely has ignored and just left them to be like, listen, I don't even want you to be my client no more after they've gone to the blogs and had complications. But then you post this celebrity, he did, even though Akbar has scarring and keloids, and even that could be treated and addressed with the doctors just, giving you keloid injections post-operative, the certain sutures that they use. She did it the right way, right? So not just because you want liposuction, I get it, I understand you want to lose weight, but definitely making sure that you go ahead and do it the right way. So shout out to her for doing that. And you see the difference. And she did her tummy tuck afterwards. And after her tummy tuck.
So do you think with a 52 BMI, because she's still fat, like even though the fat is going to be taken off some of it, I don't think they can get her down to like, a 25, 26 BMI. I just don't see it happening. But she's still fat because that fat surrounds the organs. They can't take that fat from around the organs when it comes to rolling. Just like they couldn't lipo her neck. I've never seen anybody lipo a neck. That's why she's still rolling on the neck.
I gave Rolly that they did a good job on the chin, which was the fat under the chin. But other than that,
we can't do this. We can't do this today.
Yeah, they did a good job on the chin. If I have to be impartial, but you're right, Tasha. The show is how much fat did you take out, right? I was in Dominican Republic. I saw a doctor take off 35 pounds of fat out of someone's stomach, tighten their muscles, and that patient has been like a weight, like it was almost like a sleep, even though it wasn't. So sometimes you'll see women go to Dominican Republic that have larger BMIs because it is no BMI limit. But I'm not going to lie to you, Tasha, that is recovery in itself. They're needing 8 blood transfusions. They're needing to be in DR for 21 days, right? There's complications like fat necrosis and stuff like that. But even then, there's no doctor saying we're going to lay a person with a 52 BMI. Like how and through local. And so doctors try to say, local anesthetic. But I spoke with a board certified plastic surgeon, and he says that depending on the amount and levels of local anesthetic use, it could almost be toxic. So they're trying to, create this other way for patients who have fear of general anesthesia or who don't have the right BMI, but there's still backdoor issues with that.
So you know what disturbed me? I want to say this and then we're going to end here, okay? Dr. Zach did not, and I know he's probably been legally told not to send any condolences because what he posted was very disturbing, talking about only God can judge me.
Now, I saw that and I wasn't sure if that was a real page because I saw that account had 200 followers. So I wasn't sure if it was Dr. Zach or, someone else doing that. But it was weird. I've never seen that happen as long as I've been in the industry, that a death happened and then a page pops up acting as that doctor's sending out information. So I'm like, is that him? But he doesn't want to do it from his real page. And more so, he took the photo of her down, So it was like, and he turned off all his comments. So people were not feeling that like at all.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, so bottom line, you need to figure out if your doctor sits on the board, is a graduated surgeon and not a pediatrician or a dermatologist that goes down to take a course with Dr. Miami and now he's doing liposuction. Now, did Dr. Zach go sit with Dr. Miami and get the course, the $20,000 course?
So that I would have to say that the answer is no based on what I know. But there's a lot of doctors out there now, OBGYNs that paid Dr. Miami. I know about 2 of them.
Well, listen, I appreciate you, Isis Richardson. Thank you so much for coming through. I really appreciate you giving us this information, and I'm going to start putting their ass on blast. Big time. So
thank you so much.
Anytime. And I do want to send my condolences out to Jackie's family and her children, and DC Young Fly, her partner, and anybody that is affected by her death. Okay. And so he got a lot of, and I'm sure we probably won't get no answers until there's a full autopsy done. And I'm sure, unlike other people that he's worked on, this family got money. DC got the money to bring a massive lawsuit against his ass. So that's.
Oh my gosh, I'm mute. I was mute. So that's all I really had for this video. I want the conversation to truly be about the pressure that women are under and have been under for centuries to appear a certain way, to look a certain way. Like, let's have that conversation. If we're going to have this conversation, that's the conversation that we need to have surrounding this situation. Also, that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to bring this to light. I wanted the girls to get educated on plastic surgery. There were some women in the chat that said that you should join some surgery groups. You should look into whether or not your surgeon is board certified. Please do your research, because I'm not here to tell you what not to do, because you're going to do it anyway. But I do advise, if I'm going to use my influence, is for you to do the research. Do not be cheap. This is your body. Don't be cheap about it. This is your life. And someone also asked in the comment section, they said, how are they able to get away with this? We live in a capitalist society. They don't care about you when it comes to making money, period. And in some cases, the making of the money that they want involves putting you in harm's way. That's why you have to do the research. You have to look into things. And you can't just go off of what people are saying, because we live in a capitalist society. They don't want to do anything about the gun laws and create some type of gun control that should give you some insight on how they can get away with this, because they're making money. And then a second thing that I want to add is, someone said in the chat, are women really improving their lives with surgery? Yes, when it's done a certain way. But what do you consider improvement? Because when you think of an OnlyFans girl or a porn star or an Instagram model, they're getting plastic surgery in a way that does improve their life. But then there are other women out here that are doing plastic surgery in a more conservative way. Yes, their life is improving. Yes, it is. But this is my thing, is what is more important to you? And then you go off of that and then you make your decision off of that. But I'm not going to sit here and say that the privilege that you get isn't worth it. I'm not going to sit here and say that the opportunities that you receive magically from both men and women is not worth it. I'm not here to give you that fake positive stuff, because it's not real. People don't care about that. So if you can collab with somebody, you can, hell, you lose weight, you can get better job positions. You can get a raise. Like, it's just the way that it's the world that we live in. It's society. So let's be real about it. Please, please stop with the fake positivity regarding body positive. We see how women are talked about, how their bodies are talked about, for both men and women on social media. So let's be real about it. That's all that I have regarding this video. And I hope to catch you in my next one. And like I said, my Decentering Men series is moving to my second YouTube channel, The Feminine Yoni. If you want to go over there and subscribe, I'm going to leave a link after I save this video. But that's where the series is moving to, because that space will be better, in my opinion. This is going to stay toxic, trendy, and opinions. So yeah. Good night to everyone. See you later.